Zikode kagoba izembe makhulu khulu mehlo makhulu umkhulu bhungane ziyengane eziyenga umuntu zimyenga ngendaba mthimkhulu mashiya mahle amade njengonyamazane mafuza fulele njengelifu lemvula sigoloze simehla bomvu esibheka umuntu kubekise ngathi siyamjamela ndlubuzamile kubini ngoba sisaba ukwehlela ingabe emhlenze sabani ninezindlebe zikhanyilanga nezindlebe ezinhle zombili ninabo sibo lude lungakhothama endlwaneni konke wezinto ziyakhothama ninabo magawula imithi emncane emkhulu evela izwele mahluba mahle ninamahluba nzipho zimnyama ngokuqhwayana mashwabadela owashwabadela inkomo ngezinye izimpondo zangelengele inkosi kayiqedwa.
TV, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Movie, relevant to production.
Kembo tata na nzambi ya mazulu mpungu tulendo so nini na nini somandla ngai murungu mwene nyaga. Depending on where you are, I greet you. Nusiemi betwabu mbote bayete murega siana siangai na kenda moyeru sawubona dumelang
Bayete.
Yes,
Bayete,
indeed.
bayete.
The moment is upon us, good people of EMBO, good people of Africa, and those of African descent. With us today is none other but His Royal Majesty, King Bungane, the third of EMBO Kingdom. Also with us is His Eminence, King Bishop MAPONGA Joshua, the third Marara. With us also is the President of the United Global Kingdom of Africa, His Excellency LaVELL Walton. We will also be joined later on by Elder Robert Headley. I also acknowledge the presence of Princess Lorna on our esteemed panel. Your Excellencies, let us allow His Majesty to first greet his people. Nkosi, Bayete.
Bayete, how are you? I hope all is well. We say Bayete.
Bayete.
My apologies where I am. I'm in the airport, at the airport. So I won't be very long because there is noise. My sincere apologies for that. Bayete.
We'll also allow His Eminence Bishop and King MAPONGA Joshua III Marara to salute the people.
Bayete. Marara will be with us in about 5 minutes. He was settling in. Bayete, Your Majesty.
Then we will have His Excellency, the President of the United Global Kingdom of Africa, to also greet the audience.
Bayete. All praises to the Most High. Grateful to be here in the presence of so many amazing people. Blessings to His Excellency King Bungane. Blessings to His Excellency Yakubi Bantu. Blessings to His Excellency Nkosi Nolanga. Blessings to Her Majesty Nkosi Mabaso. Blessings to Her Majesty Princess Lorna. Praises, blessings. Glad to be here. Bayete.
We'll also allow Princess Lorna to salute our guest, and then we'll go to Nkosi Nolanga the second.
Bayete, I'm sending greetings to His Majesty, Chancellor Kimbungani the Third, and I would like to greet you, Your Royal Highness, Yakubu Abantu. Thank you for allowing us on your program, and to the President Dante. You're welcome, Nkosi and to Nkosi Mabaso Bayete, and everyone in presence that I cannot see. Bayete.
Bayete. Nkosi Nolanga II greets your people, Your Majesty.
Bayete,
Bayete.
Bayete Pungane, Bayete Makulukulu. I wish to thank this opportunity. It's a great day for Africa, and I hope that every deliverance that will be delivered by our King are going to be very much beneficial to his own nation of the EMBO nation. And we thank all the sponsors of this event. It's a historic event in our life, and we're so grateful. Bayete.
Bayete. And then in our presence, I did see Nkosi. I think he has left. So, Your Royal Majesty in Bungane, for the sake of our viewers who are not familiar, of course, those of us on this panel are familiar with you, and give you all the esteem and acknowledgement. Perhaps you may introduce yourself once more as our people, because in our culture it is rude to introduce a man. So, your king, perhaps for the sake of our viewers, you may introduce yourself.
Bayete.
Bayete.
Bayete. President Dante.
Bayete, thank you. I would love to introduce His Royal Majesty Chancellor King Bungani III of the EMBO Kingdom of Africa. It is an honor to be able to introduce His Majesty to all. EMBO simply means the beginning. His Royal Majesty is Professor Chancellor King Bungani III of EMBO Kingdom of Africa, former political prisoner on Robben Island with the late Dr. Nelson Mandela. He is a member of the June 16th Foundation, chairperson of EMBO Economic Bloc, former head of administration audit of South Africa Foreign Affairs, president of Afro-Asia Business Forum, member of CHANCELLOR, which is Congress of Traditional Leadership in South Africa, former head of the political school of the ANC, which is the African National Congress in Johannesburg, South Africa. He's also former soldier of Umkhonto with Sizwe, military wing of the ANC, former chairperson of the Military Veterans Association of the ANC, also chairperson of the vetting committee of the EPPA, which is the Ex-Political Prisoners Association. King Bungani III is also former member of the ANC International Relations Subcommittee of the ANC. He is Chancellor Emeritus conferred by UNESCO, African Youth Parliament, former commissioner at the Department of Arts and Culture in South Africa. His Royal Majesty King Bungani III of EMBO Kingdom is a holder of Ikamanga in gold, conferred by His Excellency former President of South Africa, Zuma, for his outstanding role in exile with the Mandela Cultural Group of the ANC. I present to some and I introduce to others, none other than His Royal Majesty, His Imperial Majesty, King Bungani III of the EMBO Kingdom. Bayete.
Bayete.
Thank you, Your Excellency President LaVELL Walton. The first question I wish to pose to His Excellency. I have known him to be a very spiritual person and very insightful when it comes to matters of our true history, our true spirituality. Your Excellencies, let us hear from a true son of the soil of Africa, what it means and what the religion that has been brought by the white man poses as a threat to our indigenous systems. Nkosi.
Bayete.
Bayete Nkosi. Sorry, we lost you for a second there.
Thank you very much.
We lost you for a second there.
There's one thing that we, the people of color, we must always remember. We are not religious people. I want to repeat that. We are not religious people. Religion came with the colonizers in our continent. Religion, it is a man-made thing. When people started defying the creator who created heaven and earth, they start creating their own systems of beliefs. So we, as the people of color, we are not religious people. The question would be then, what are we? We are spiritual people. Spirituality, in what manner? We talk about spirituality in the divine manner. Divinity has different categories. Even the devil himself believes in divinity. But ours, it is a divine spiritual connection with the creator who created heaven and earth. We, as the first people, the creator gave us what we call melanin. Melanin in our systems, it makes us to connect with the cosmos. It makes us to connect with the waters. It makes us to connect with him direct. We don't need the middle person or a middleman to connect with the creator. We don't need a character of Jesus Christ to connect with the creator. That's what we are. We are above religious denominations. If you remember, during the Roman Empire, the king of the Roman, at that time it was the king who summoned the Council of Nicaea to come and coin a religion that is called Christianity today. So we don't subscribe to that. We are naturally connecting with the creator. I just want to clear that. Number two, when there was a request from the creator about the creations of kingdoms on earth, there are different types of kingdoms. There is a kingdom that I subscribe to. It is a divine kingdom. It is the kingdom that it connects with the creator. It is a kingdom that subscribes to the creator. Thus, in some of the verses, when you read the Old Testament, when they talk about our Father who art in heaven, you know, it talks about somewhere, let it be done as it is done in heaven on earth. So that is the type of kingdoms that I am talking about. These are kingdoms that they pay allegiance to the creator, not a kingdom that pays allegiance to deities. We don't pray deities, we don't pray ancestors, but we pray direct the creator. So EMBO kingdom simply means origin. EMBO simply means the place of origin, meaning the continent where we come from. It is a divine continent where the first people who were created of color, and these are people that we would refer as melanated people, whom we refer as Moors. These are the people, not black people. Black people, when you refer to them as black, you are insulting them. We are Moors people, okay? So we are the first creation that connects with the cosmos, connect with the waters. So EMBO simply means the place of origin. So our kingdom is the kingdom of the Bantu people, not a kingdom that praise deities like these other kingdoms. Let me define a kingdom in the southern part of the continent. This kingdom that is called the Zulu kingdom, and the kingdom that is called the Basotho kingdom, and the kingdom that is called the Eswatini kingdom. These are kingdoms that were created by colonialists. These are British protectorate kingdoms. Therefore, they are not kings. They are referred as paramount chiefs under the British throne. Okay? So we have nothing to do with that. Ours is a divine kingdom, and this kingdom, it is a king is chosen by the creator himself. And the king, if he sits in the throne, he must connect with the creator. The creator must tell him what to do. He becomes the eyes, the ears, and the mouth of the creator, of the God. That's what I can talk about EMBO. EMBO is a divine kingdom. We don't subscribe to killing. We don't subscribe to blood. Other kingdoms were created with blood foundation, like the Zulu kingdom. It is a blood kingdom because Shaka used to kill people, force people under it. We don't do that. We are people that are referred as Bantu or Angoni people. Angoni people are people who don't partake into a sin. Angoni in the Angoni language simply means somebody who does not partake into a sin. So we don't enter into any sin. That's what we are. Bayete. Any questions from the panel? Bye. I thank you very much. Bayete.
Esteemed panel, His Royal Majesty has asked if there is any question.
And before, if I could just conclude, we as the EMBO, we created what we call the United Global Kingdoms of Africa. United Global Kingdoms of Africa is the only platform that would be liaising with our people who were forcefully taken by the colonizers into slavery. There's the only one platform, and there's only one government that we subscribe to. It is the United Global Kingdoms of the continent, because what we have decided as EMBO, we cannot subscribe to governments that are paying allegiance to the Freemasons, are paying allegiance to the murderers who are under any government that has murdered our people without any apology. If you remember the British, what they did, they stole our minerals in the continent. They stole everything in our continent. Not even a single day they came and apologized. Same applies with other governments that took our people into slavery. Not even a single day they came and apologized to our people for what they have done. Up to today, we have built Europe. None of them, they've ever acknowledged our contribution as people who were forcefully taken from our homes, as we are referred as slaves. And then in Europe today, Europe is like this because of the minerals that were stolen from our people. So they don't even acknowledge and show a sign of remorse. Same applies to America. America was built by our own people, with the blood and sweat of our own people. Now we are calling our people to come back to our continent to reclaim their destiny, to reclaim whatever that belongs to them. They must come together and form units with whatever assets they have. They must come and buy land and build their own villages and create their own currencies and buy mines and create their own wealth, so that out of that wealth, they're able to have their own currency. They create their own bank reserve. They've got their own government. Because if we are going to continue with these governments that are here today, we will never go anywhere. Because if we would borrow, for an example, from the Anglophone system of governance, for example, South Africa today, and South Africa today, and there's a background that is disturbing me. Can I continue?
Yes, Your Royal Majesty.
Bayete. Yes, I was saying, if we are to borrow from the Anglophone system of governance, what we call the Westminster style of governance, we cannot say South Africa it is free. South Africa it is never free, and it will never be free, because it subscribed to the same system of the Commonwealth. South Africa it is a member of the Commonwealth. Simply means, in a layman's language, simply means they pay allegiance to the very same people who stole from them, the same people who made them to be nobodies. So South Africa, it is not a free country. We need to go out of those systems and create our own government, that we've got our own currency. We create our own wealth, so that we are one, so that we reclaim our destiny. Bayete.
Bayete, Nkosi yami. Your Royal Majesty, I had the privilege to hear your speech as it was delivered at the 5th IDO convention that happened recently in Mombasa by Nkosi Dr. Patrick Mashele, and you brought out very, very, very strong and passionate words. He brought out words that were given, of course, by you, your Royal Majesty, pertaining the return of our people to the continent, and the measures that were collectively discussed by the panel of kings and queens from Africa. Unfortunately, you are handling royal business, but your presence was felt through your speech. Your Excellency, on that accord, we have seen a lot of organizations prop up, purporting to help our people return home. Perhaps a brief take from you, Your Royal Majesty, as to this.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Your Excellency. There is only one body, it is called United Global Kingdoms of Africa, that we have assigned to be the one that is responsible for bringing back our people to the continent. The other people, maybe they're trying to be imitating what we are doing. So we don't encourage people to liaise with those people. And the second thing, we as EMBO Kingdom and the United Global Kingdoms of Africa, we don't issue certificates for change of names. We don't do that. There's only one system that we do of doing things according to the government, because we regard the United Global Kingdoms of Africa as the alternative government for the people of color, so that we create our own. So we coexist with these bloodly kingdoms and bloodly governments. Bayete.
Bayete, Nkosi yami. With your indulgence and permission, I believe His Eminence King Maponga Joshua III Marara is with us. Greet the audience.
I hope if I could just interject. I'm at the airport. If I'm permitted, I would like to request maybe to recuse myself for now. I think you heard my views, and whenever you would like to contact me, feel free to engage with me. Ours, to reiterate our position, United Global Kingdoms is the only government that is recognized, and then even other bodies in the continent, they know that this is the government, this is alternative government, and this is the government of our people of color. Bayete.
Bayete.
Nkosi yami.
Bayete.
Bayete. King Maponga Joshua III Marara, greet your people.
Greetings, brothers and sisters around the continent, and we send our greetings across from the southern part of Africa here in Zimbabwe, and I'm glad to be part of this conversation. I will be sitting on the terraces and listening, and thank you very much for inviting me to your meeting. I thank you.
Bayete. Mr. President, because this one falls in your domain, in the waiting room, we have a guest who was invited. I would like to bring him up so that he can understand. We seem to have lost him, but still on our train of thought, perhaps a brief overview of what the United Global Kingdoms of Africa stands for and the things that we have accomplished as an organization, because you are on the forefront of helping our people return home together with the organizations that work closely with you. They are well known and well stipulated in your charter, Your Excellency.
Bayete. Thank you first and foremost for allowing me to be here to speak and to share with everyone the United Global Kingdoms of Africa, the vision, the mission, the heart and soul of UGKA, United Global Kingdoms of Africa. First and foremost, all blessings, Bayete, to his to His Excellency, His Majesty Yakubi Bantu. Blessings to you, to His Royal Majesty King Bungane III. I know he had to step out just a moment, but he's at the airport. But all blessings to him as well. To Bishop Marara, Joshua Maponga, honor, and to all the other elders, kings, chiefs, your majesties, princesses, queens, kings, honor, and all blessings to the Creator for you being here on today. United Global Kingdoms of Africa, what it is all about is our vision is to be that bridge for the diaspora and returning home. And not only to be the bridge for the diaspora and returning home to the continent, the place of their ancestry, the place that they were taken from, their ancestors were stolen from, but also to rebuild the relationships between those who are continental African or continental Bantu, or continental melanated people, along with those who are in the diaspora, reconnecting and rebuilding the bridge in relationships, learning to forgive, learning to reestablish and be one people again. If I remember correctly, it was J. Edgar Hoover of the, he's a former director of the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. He said loud and clear, I believe this was in the 1950s, he said it loud and clear, the biggest threat to the United States of America, and I would venture to say the biggest threat to all the colonial powers and all those who would desire to continue to keep Africa down and low. The biggest threat to the world is Bantu unity. Our people becoming one again. And United Global Kingdoms of Africa is focused on just that, not so much to become an opposition to those who have been in colonial power for so many years, so many decades, so many centuries, but more so focused on the well-being of our people worldwide and returning home to Africa to become one people, to rebuild Africa to its former regency, its formal regalia, if you will, just being able to be clothed in the majesty Africa used to be in before colonial powers. And so UGKA was empowered by the Creator, who empowered King Bungane III of the EMBO Kingdom, who empowered other kings and chiefs and leaders to continue to endorse the hope the heart, the focus, the soul of UGKA in returning the diaspora back home and us becoming one people again. And then that blessing was bestowed upon me to lead and to spearhead this movement, this movement to getting our people home and reestablishing our relationships with our own people. So I'm honored to be here. United Global Kingdoms of Africa is solid. It's established. It's not going anywhere. This is to return sovereignty to the kingdoms before colonialism. Thank you so much for having me to speak. Bayete.
Ayete,
Bayete.
Princess Lorna, as you speak for the kingdom of EMBO and you also speak for His Royal Majesty Bungane, perhaps your thoughts on what the president has just shared with us.
Bayede, thank you very much, Your Royal Highness. I just wanted to recognize Elder Nkosi that is in the chat. I don't know if Your Royal Highness, have you seen him? Because he said he has been here since the beginning and you have not recognized him. Bayede.
Nkosi Mabaso?
No, Elder Robert Hartley.
Yeah, he was in the waiting room, and I've just pulled him to the main screen.
Bayede. I would like to call MAPONGA Marara. Kabo, can you lead us on this one? Bayede.
Princess MAPONGA seemed to have dropped. He was with us, but he's not on the list. I'm hoping he can rejoin us.
Okay, I can confidently say President Walton is the president that was put by His Majesty King Bungane III to lead the children of diaspora for coming back home. Because what we are saying is our people don't have a home. Our people in the diaspora, our people in Europe and the US, they don't have a home. When we speak of Asians or Chinese, when they say go back home, they go to China, they go back to Japan, they go back to India. And what about those who were taken without authority, those who were taken to slavery? Right now, when you look at each and every child of Abangoni, they are tracing back their origin. They are spending a lot of money doing the blood lane, checking where are they coming from. But the question is Africa ready for its children? That's why President Dante is here to lead those who are lost, because they are lost. They don't have a home in the USA. They don't have a home in the UK. They are Africans. There's no such thing as African American. We are either African or European. So sons and daughters of the soil must come back home under the United Global Kingdom of Africa, under the leadership of President Dante, because he's the chosen one. And UGKA is a well-registered organization under the Intergovernmental Organization. UGKA doesn't answer to any country. Hence, it's united. So united means it's global. So it answers only to the united law, the intergovernmental law. So it's got its own sovereignty. So all the children of Africa that are listening right now, as His Majesty has alluded to that, you must come back home. Whatever that you did in the US, whatever that you did in the UK, you must come back home and do it. Don't come in silos, because the reason everyone says we are coming home, they are coming in silos, and the process when you come as an individual, it's not the same as you're coming as an organization. United Global Kingdom will be in the entire continent, having satellite offices through President Dante, and in Europe and in the USA. Thank you very much. I submit.
Bayete, Princess.
Right.
Nkosi Nolanga, perhaps a word from you, Nkosi, because as my elder, it would be rude not to allow you to speak to the people as this panel continues to.
Bayete.
Bayete, Nkosi.
First and foremost, I will appreciate the initiative. We are so much honored in Africa to have our leader, King Bungane III. And I want also to thank all those that have supported him to formulate this system, because it's a government, it's a system that nobody will have an authority to try and infringe and try and control it. As the kings of this continent and the globe, we so much, impressed and excited to get this opportunity. After many, many years, we've been suppressed, we've been killed, we have suffered every stresses created by the Western governments and pathetic governments in the globe. And we feel honored and we feel free today, and we thank our King to also connect us spiritually as the spiritual King with our brothers and sisters from all over the world, especially the diaspora brothers and sisters. We're saying, as the kings and the kingdoms of Africa, we welcome them home. We have land that we want to build with them to leave our young ones, our generation, in a better future. And we thank you all. Bayete.
Bayete, Nkosi, Bayete, Bayete. Nkosi Mabaso.
Bye.
We also want to hear from you, Nkosi Young.
Bayete, Bayete. My apologies. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Bayete, siyakuzwa Nkosi.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity that our Majesty has given us. We really looking forward to working hard in making sure that as the people of EMBO Kingdom, as the people of the United Global Kingdoms of Africa, we will welcome our brothers and sisters from United States all over the country that they are coming back home. So we are really looking forward to that, because that will be a change that we've been waiting for such a long time. So I'm really proud and happy to be part of this great movement that is happening in our continent, and so that spiritually together that we can move this continent forward to be what God wanted it to be, as people of EMBO, as people who do not dwell on sin, because God loves us as Africa, hence all the minerals and everything was given to us. So it's time for us to claim back that now. So I really appreciate the movement that we're having now, that our king and the president of United Global Kingdom has offered this opportunity. Thank you.
Bayete.
Bayete. Also on the panel, we have Elder Nkosi Zonath, who has been educating our people on and deciphering the hidden language in the scriptures, and he has been educating our people. He was invited to this panel, so perhaps he can acknowledge his presence, and he may greet the people.
Okay, greetings to all your Royal Highnesses. It is my first occasion in one of these sessions, and I'm happy to be here. And I'm happy to greet you in the precious name of our Father, Sunini Nanini. I thank you for this opportunity because as a people in the diaspora, my ancestors hail from the Caribbean. I'm living in the United Kingdom, and I lead a small group that we refer to ourselves as the United Kingdom of Akobi, the United Kingdom of Abram. Long before I understand the implications of those three letters. And we're happy to be here. My role is to connect, like the Universal Kingdom of EMBO, connect our people back home. And my task was to prove, using the scriptures, that very Bible that a lot of us have recused ourselves from, to show that Africa has always been the Holy Land. And to date, we have been able to successfully do that. And we'll continue to work with the Universal Kingdom of EMBO and all other organizations and groups that will see our people come back home to the Holy Land. We might have different methodologies of doing it. You know, I represent Black Re-Education TV, which is my show on YouTube and UK Bantu Exodus. And we have been together working very hard to make sure that our people, those who have been caught in religion, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, to get the picture that Europe has nothing to offer us, though we are in Europe, and that Africa is the place that we need to be a part of. And we are doing exactly that. Some things we cannot reveal on the front side of it, but if Your Majesty, Her Majesties do desire to inquire, Your Highnesses, we are very well prepared to share some of the thoughts that we have. Thank you for allowing me the privilege of being here. Thank you.
Bayete. Back to you, President, Your Excellency, President Walton, perhaps to hammer the nail home.
Bayete. Please repeat your question again.
We wanted your thoughts as to what has been spoken, because you are the president championing the, if I may say, umbrella organization, and all other organizations, if they wish to indulge in this endeavor, should also endeavor to see what UGKA stands for and everything. So perhaps a response to everything that has been spoken.
Bayete. Yes, with UGKA, United Global Kingdoms of Africa, being the umbrella governmental body, it is a, for lack of better words, it is a diplomatic collaborative. I guess you can say it's in the similitude of the United Nations or African Union or even the European Union. It's not the exact same, but it's in the similitude of such bodies. Any organization or any movement that is looking to assist the diaspora worldwide, from the four corners of the earth, from North America, the Caribbean islands, South America, all the way over to Europe and Asia, to East India or Australia, or any other continent or country in the world that is not based on the continent of Africa that we know as Archipelago. any organization that wishes to assist in helping the diaspora and helping the continental African, it is desired of us to meet with you, to talk with you, and see what your intentions, what your goals are, and to see how they might align with our intent. And just to clarify what our intentions, again, to clarify, our intentions are simply to bridge that gap between international waters and bringing our people home. And secondly, to bridge the gap in relationships between the diaspora and the continental African or brothers and sisters that we have on the continent. We believe that it is important, extremely important, for us to reawaken to our identity, our history. In the words of Marcus Garvey in the 1920s, he said, a people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture, a people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. And so it is imperative for every single person to know their ancestry, to know their history, to know their origin, to know their culture, the culture of our people, of Bantu people, to know what Bantu means, to understand it within our soul, within our spirit, and to live according to that. And as His Majesty Elder Nkosi Zenata, also known as Elder Robert Headley, was just saying, it is important for our people to know that Africa is the Holy Land. Africa is our home. And to see the Bible not as a religious book, to begin to learn of it, I'll say it this way, to begin to learn the Bible as a history book, to understand our origin, to understand our history, to understand our culture, our beginning, so then that way we can build a brighter future for our people going forward. So my desire, or the desire of UGKA, is to collaborate with other organizations so long as both of our views or our vision aligns. And we want to make sure UGKA's reputation across the world is a clean reputation. Wanting to make sure nobody's being defrauded or have a sense of being scammed or cheated or robbed or lied to or anything of the sort. We want to make sure that our representation and our reputation is clean, because this is not a matter of how we feel today, but it is how our children and their children live tomorrow. Today, UGKA is growing a tree for the fruit and the shade we may not live in or eat on tomorrow, but our children and their children and their children will. So it's extremely imperative for us to make sure that we bear good fruit, if that makes sense. Bayete.
Bayete. And still on you, Your Excellency, there's a question coming in from King Mushoki Wamaina, recently crowned king of the diaspora amongst the Kenda Moyoru and the Agikoyo people in Kenya, under the order of Kenda Moyoru, who also happens to be the roving ambassador to the State of Africa diaspora. And the question he's posing is there a structure in place to establish economic power to elevate our people with the resources that Africa possesses?
Yes, there is a structure in place. We are continuing to develop that. We're pretty strong with it already, and most or more of that information will be revealed in the days to come. So please continue to stay tuned to us. Continue to follow up on our website, ugka.org. Or www.ugka.org, where more information will be available. And we do have upcoming Zoom webinars to reveal some of this information to the people.
Back to Princess Lorna. Perhaps this one is for you. And it comes in from East Africa, and this one is to the royals. Let me see. The question is not a bit clear, but I think what they are trying to ask is, what happens to those in South America, those who do not have access to these systems? I think that is the question they are trying to ask, Your Highness.
I still don't understand the question because I see that they say the descendant of in the Caribbean, central of South America, who may not have access to USD. Okay, you see, when we're talking about resources, SD and H99, when we are talking about the resources, we are talking about whatever that one can bring, not just USD or euros or pounds or monetary value. We are saying the children of Africa, we are known of working in silos. What I'm trying to say is you can go anywhere in the world. Where there is Chinese, Chinese work together. Where there is Indians, Indians work together. The question is, where have you seen African uniting, working together? Everywhere in Africa, we are still pushing the mandate of the Caucasian, the mandate of the colonizer, the mandate of divide and conquer. And the reason the structure of United Global Kingdom was formulated is to unite the children of Africa, whether they are in Africa or whether they are in diaspora. Diaspora, I'm including those who are in the South America or in the Caribbean or in Jamaica. That's what the United Global Kingdom of Africa is all about. It's all about uniting the sons and daughters of soil so that they can develop their own continent, because we think we are in need of Europe or America. No, Europe and America need Africa. Africa doesn't need anybody to rescue it. So daughters and sons of Africa need to come back to Africa, because that is where I remember hearing Nkosi Elder Robert Hartley speaking of Africa. It is the land of milk and honey. That was said in their religious system, in their Bible. That is very much true. It is the land of milk and honey. So how can we work in the land of gold and still beg, go out there and still beg to be saved? Africa doesn't need to be saved. Africa is the one that is supposed to be doing the saving, not the other way around. So all children of Africa, if they just stop this mandate of the colonizer of divide and conquer, of working in silos, and come together under the umbrella of United Global Kingdom of Africa, then the world shall be at peace. As His Majesty Chancellor Bungane the third alluded, the United Global Kingdom of Africa, there's only one president in it, and there's only one door in it. And if we need to unite, whether we are developing or we are investing not just in monetary value, but in the skills that we have, we can develop those who are upcoming. We can start with your education. Africa have a land. There's too much land in Africa. There's too much minerals in Africa. Let us come together and make sure that we utilize the land and the minerals of Africa to the children, to the daughters and the sons of Africa. I always say to my president, LaVEL, to say the tree that we are planting today, we are not the one that will enjoy the fruit of it. Those who are coming after us, we are doing it not today, but for the future. Those who are coming after us, they are the one who will be enjoying the fruit of the tree that we are planting today. United Global Kingdom of Africa is here to stay. I remember the prophecy of Mkulu Credo Mutwa when he said in 1992, when they asked him, is South Africa, or will South Africa be free? Because now the political uh, 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 prisoners are coming out, and nobody listened to him when he said, in 3 decades, South Africa will be free. When the kings and the queens of this land are taking over. I think we need to look back at that interview to say, Mkulu Credo Moto was not talking to the stones. Mkulu Credo Moto was not talking, he was talking to the living people to say in 3 decades, tables will turn and those kings, those who were born as leaders will take over, not the 5-year leaders that will fill their pockets so that when they leave with something in hand. But those who are born, the kings and the queens, will rule. And right now, when you look at things, you'll realize that the kings and the queens of this land, because each and every child, whether whatever religion that you are taking or political party that you are taking, you are the child of the king, you are the child of the queen. So, and the beginning of freedom of Africa start with South Africa. Mkulu Credo Mutwa said, if South Africa is not free, Africa will never free. So that means the children of diaspora will never be free. So we are here to say we are building the foundation of freedom of the black child, of Abantu Abangoni. Yes, we might not, we might say Abantu, and we don't understand what Bantu means. The bar part of Bantu is your body that is joined with the spirit of Untu. So us, as melanated people, we have the spirit that everyone wants, the spirit of Untu. Hence, we are called Ba Ntu, Bayede. I submit.
Bayete. Nkosi Nolanga the second. Nkosi, this one I pose to you. We have indigenous kingdoms in Africa that have been looked down upon by the political systems, and we see a rise in these kingdoms uniting. I'm sure you're familiar with what happened in Mombasa not long ago, Mombasa, Kenya, where kings and queens from Africa signed the Human Rights Declaration, charter to be taken to the United Nations. So we as kings to our people, what can the people expect from us as a collective? Bayete.
Bayete, first and foremost, I would like to say, as kings in Africa and in the globe as a whole, now we have our white paper, which is a policy that is signed. It is a private policy that is signed and that we have authority to control. And there is nobody who will have a right to interfere with that policy except the kings and the queens of Africa and the queens of globe of the whole world as a whole. And all we are saying is that the traditional authorities are the cultural education of everybody that is living on earth, regardless of the color or creed that God has created on this world. We have a right to come together now with all other nations, and they have to bow to God for all their forefathers' sins and say, God, we pray that you forgive us as young generations, and we want to stay together with our color brothers and kings, and we want to develop this whole world together under the united global kingdoms of the world. And the EMBO nation is the only institute that will be the educational institute that will bring back and reinstate what has been lost in our African kingdoms. And we so much, appreciate King Bungane III for the entire work that he has, engaged to bring the victory that we have today. And we so wish to really be part of the whole journey and help our king to succeed all this initiative to our generations. And we just pray that God stays within ourselves and sprinkle his spirit that will unite us, that will not undermine each other, and that will stop all these unnecessary wars that have destruction weapons in our world, because that's not what God has created in this world. God has created the world of peace, but because of greediness and hatred, our white brothers are creating all these destruction weapons which are unnecessary. And we, as the kings of Africa, are saying this must come to an end. The wars that are created unnecessary in the whole world must come to an end now. There must be no other war in this world except development for our generations to come. Bayede.
Bayete Nkosi. We have His Eminence Bishop Maponga back with us, and I pose this question to you, Your Eminence. We see a lot of our people distraught and lost following Cesare Borgia's image in the name of a white savior. You have categorically spoken this very many times, Your Eminence, and it would be an injustice not to have you speak on this platform, Nkosi, and to retaliate any other sentiments that you might have, because we hold you in esteem as Umkhonto Wesizwe when it comes to the spiritual warfare of the liberation of our people. Nkosi.
Bayet. I think the religious conversation will need its full time in terms of us taking our time to unpack African spirituality in the ambit of colonial education. And you can never become a Luo or become a Zulu or become a Karanga unless you are born into that space of the Karangas, the Luos, and the Bembas, and whatever it is. Therefore, you cannot unbe yourself by becoming something else. And the whole concoction of theology that is, spoon-fed the Africans, that they can become Christians or they can become Muslims. These are external issues that are not necessarily intrinsic to our gene, our birth, our growth, and our history. And the whole caricature of a white messiah who is the same complexion with the colonizers, and then the African finds himself worshiping a white Jesus who looks like the white colonizer. I think the level of colonization is quite toxic, because there's no way you can make an idol out of your abuser's image and then venerate that, pontificate that into a religious organization. Christianity, therefore, is quite abusive at a very high level, in that it would drum down this rhetoric, theological junk into the African minds, and, as it were, subject the African child to double jeopardy, if not trauma, that the very same system that oppressed them must bring a savior that will liberate them. The God of the servant, the slave, and the God of the master can never be the same. And if God wanted us as one nation, then why did he make us many? And in that sense, therefore, if God has a problem with the black people as a race and as a people, then he never created us at all. If he has a problem with our drums, if he has a problem with our culture, and the only time God can accept us is when we look like Europeans, then that God is a foreigner to the African people, and I personally have nothing to do with such a God. And in as much as we are taught the God who says we must love, we must forgive, must give the other cheek. When a man takes your land, you must give him your wife also. When he steals your jacket, you must give him the waistcoat. I don't believe in that kind of a God. I want the God of the Old Testament, the one who goes with his people to war, to fight for the land, and to claim what rightfully belongs to them. Jehovah Sabaoth, the one who marshals armies for war. And I think for too long we've been docile as Africans, and religion has turned us into European pets, where by becoming Christians, we have substituted reason, dignity, and right of sovereignty, identity, and land. And we have submitted and substituted that with some colonial utopian eschatology of a heaven that is in the sky, a home of the faithful. And we want to go to heaven in such a hurry. But if God wanted us in heaven, why did he create us on earth? I thank you.
Nkosi Bayete. And still on that thought, we have our rituals, we have our culture that have been delegated the name witchcraft by those that wish to see our old ways eroded. Perhaps your thoughts on this and the cognitive dissonance that surrounds this, especially by those who have not had an opportunity to grow, seeing these things happen in the culture. Perhaps a word pertaining this, Your Eminence.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, culture or culture is the way a community wants to celebrate itself. So it is confusion of the high order for the Christian African to say, I don't do culture. And yet they are doing a white wedding, which is European culture. You say, I don't do culture, but drinking the blood of Jesus and eating his flesh. That's culture. I don't do culture, but you are sitting in a church where they are fumigating you with incense. That's culture. So I think it's a schizophrenic, bipolar, almost psychiatric condition of the African mind to think that by demonizing their own culture, they can become Europeans. My 1 cent's worth is every time we are becoming like them, we're depriving them an opportunity to experience us. Therefore, culture is what life is all about. And the dominant culture, the colonial culture, becomes the culture of the servants. And as such, the religion of the master becomes the religion of the servants. The diet of the master becomes the diet of the servants. The education of the master becomes the education of the servants. The holidays of the master become the holidays of the servants. That's why we are celebrating Christmases, celebrating Easters, Father's Days, Mother's Days, Valentine's, Guy Fawkes Days, Halloween night days, and all these rubbish Gregorian pagan holidays that have intoxicated the African government cultures, which have nothing to do with our culture, except that the colonial master that was here left his governance principles, and from thus we try to run our own governments. In fact, the local governments have just become modern colonizers because they walk into the same office to enforce the same law that they were fighting during the liberation struggle. Then the question is, what were you fighting when the laws of minerals are still the same? The laws of education are the same. The laws of passports and traveling and borders are still the same. So what has changed? So in my own world, democracy is a colonial drug, and religion is a pimp on the global village, and economy is the business that prostitutes culture. I thank you.
Nkosi, Bayete. Yes, very, very direct words from Nkosi, Maponga, Joshua, the third Marara. He does not mince words, and that is why I respect Nkosi so much, because he does not mince words. when it comes to the culture. When you see me wear the colors of my people, when you see me wear the diadem of my people, when you see me hold the staff and the diadems of rulership as a king in the right to my people, do not think we are not educated. We can speak the language of the colonizer. We understand the language of the colonizer, but we also understand the trick that the colonizer played on our people. And that is why we are fighting on the continent and working with organizations like United Global Kingdom of Africa to see our people returned home. And this one I pose to President, His Excellency President LaVELL. You see, for example, the United States alone brags of a GDP of 3 trillion from those with melanin in their skin, which continues to solidify the reason we have never needed the Caucasoids, we have never needed the Caucasians, but we need to come out of this mentality. And if we are coming out of the mentality, we cannot handpick what we want to live and what the culture is part of us. Back to you, Mr. President. What can we look forward to in terms of the economic elevation of our people? Perhaps a few, just to brush it, because we can't go into the nitty-gritty of it. That would also require another dialogue.
A much longer dialogue. Yes, absolutely. I'll sum it up in this way. Many of us across the world have heard of the renowned Black Wall Street. And I just want to kind of give a quick history check on that. In 1863 was considered the Emancipation Proclamation. All right, that's when Abraham Lincoln signed a bill that said people who are enslaved, physically enslaved, would be liberated. So there's no more physical slavery for them. And then in 1865, very shortly after, there was the introduction of the 13th Amendment, which would only enslave our people. Which would only enslave our people yet again into the chains of bondage via imprisonment. So, but what's really significant about that history check is in 1905, Ottawa W. Gurley, during the Oklahoma land run, purchased land along with a few others. He had purchased land in Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, in a city or an area called Tulsa. And in 1921, that area he had purchased was burnt down. So that is a period of 15 to 16 years from the date that he purchased it to the date it was burnt down. Okay, 15 to 16 years. And we were able to establish as a people, give me just a second here. I want to pull this up so that I can give you the accuracy of this. We were able to establish as a people 600 businesses, 21 churches, 21 restaurants, 30 grocery stores, 2 movie theaters, 6 private airplanes, 1 hospital, 1 bank, and our own school system, and our own bus system, our own post office, libraries, law offices, and so much more. If we were able to accomplish that in a short period of time of 15 to 16 years, 1905 to 1921, when it was burnt down, imagine what could be accomplished when we're all together on our own homeland. So what my response to is, and let me say this. The black dollar in that regard was considered to rotate or circulate in the black community or in the Bantu community, if I can say it that way, right? In the US, it circulated 36 to 100 times before it ever left our communities. 36 to 100 times our dollars circulated in our own communities with our own businesses before it ever left. And now in the United States of America, Our dollars circulate in our own communities a period of 6 hours. The Asian dollar circulates between 13 and 16 times before it leaves the Asian community in the United States of America. The white dollar circulates about 18 times before it ever leaves the community. But the black dollar, 6 hours. So what we can expect from United Global Kingdoms of Africa is going back to our old ways, remembering what we used to do, who we used to be, circulating our currency, not just the U.S. currency, but if you are of the Sidis people in Eastern India, if you are of the Aboriginal people in Australia and New Zealand, if you are of anywhere out of UK or South America or America, the Caribbean islands, wherever you're from, utilizing the currencies over there, imagine if you had a currency in Africa that was for your people, specifically for your people. That's what we look to do as far as economically, is to reestablish our own dollar circulation, as well as our own dollar, a dollar that is supported by our people, backed by the minerals and the solar energy and every aspect of Africa, our homeland. And not being completely separated from our people, but being, again, like the first word in UGKA is, united. I hope that answers the question. Bayete.
Bishop, what can we expect spiritually?
I would want to, again, that's a revolutionary question, because making the white Jesus to pack his bags out of Africa to return where he came from will be very difficult, because he is now occupying an excellent position in the minds and the societal structure of the African mindset. It therefore demands a restoration of our ancient ways. We used to pray for the rain, and it used to rain. A few days ago, we had COVID. Even our presidents did not have solutions except to look for money to deal with the physical problem. But in the ancient times, we used to use the spiritual knowledge and software to deal with political, social, and environmental issues. What do we expect? 3 things only. The horn to call the community together, the drum to dance and play together and celebrate our time, and calabash, where the community must start sitting together, eating and sharing water and drink together. The community establishment is not better defined in the entire African continent except in Zimbabwe. Z, which means established. Mba, which means house. Okay, which means stone. Therefore, Zimbabwe build a country, build homes on solid ground. The re-establishment of this, the sovereignty of the African kings, and the ownership of land, its resources, means of production, can only be celebrated in a spiritual way. Therefore, until a nation is able to celebrate its time, it remains a servant to the dominant culture. I thank you.
And this one I pose to the educators, Nkosi Zonath. This one is directed to us. What can we expect, you as an educator and those that are in the front line of educating these? Are you looking to collaborate with the information on the ground to understand, as it has been categorically put, about the culture?
Bayete, my kings. On the grounds of education, if I come back up a little, because I was listening to the comments on culture there, and in terms of culture, we have to appreciate the fact that it has been over 400 years, our people in the diaspora has left the continent, and we have disconnected from that culture. And the process of reintegrating into that culture is very important and how we reintegrate. There are things that we are not familiar with. And as a result of that, we will have to learn and relearn. And the patience on with our brothers and sisters on the continent must be there to understand. It's in education, you take people from the known to the unknown. In this case, we don't know the culture, we are now learning the culture. So if you hear me saying Sunini na nini and I'm pronouncing the thing correctly or Tatanzambi, you just understand that I don't speak any Bantu languages. I lived in Botswana for about 2 years working for the for TSM, the Ministry of Education there, and didn't know that I was in the Holy Land. So do I observe a couple of things? Now I'm connected. And so here at Black Re-Education TV, behind the scene, which we don't bring forward to the front very often, it's not wise to do, we have remapped the education program that we will be sharing with all organizations, that especially the Kingdom of EMBO, that we can use to help to reintegrate not only the adults, but also the children. Like the Queen said, our children is what we are working for here. You know, I'm gone just now. When I'm finished my work, I'll be joining my ancestors. But my children and my grandchildren, they are going to come into a system that they're going to walk straight into a European system that is not designed for us. And so on the continent, you find that the whole system, Africa is still running a complete European system. And we have to break with it. And the way to do it is a gradual transition, and we have to understand that transition. We will sit as kings outside of the public view like this, and then plan that strategy, because it has to be planned so that it can be implemented. A time is coming when we have to remove our children from schools. We have to. And because they're going to teach them gender reassignment. Or why should we, who have been fearfully and wonderfully made, looking to reassign our gender? That's a European problem that we don't need to be a part of. And therefore, it is important that we map a strategy in the quiet, dark corners. We have to learn from the Europeans on this ground. The strategy that they have put in place today is ensuring that we are slaves forever. We've got to sit in quiet and do the same, plan a strategy that will redeem us forever. That is what this is about. And so education is the vehicle, and we are working in that area to make sure that we change this through education. Thank you. Thank you, my kings and queens.
Nkosi no longer the second. Something has come up from the sentiments shared by Nkosi's owners. Do you believe the indigenous kingdoms or the systems have adopted a more westernized method? Because even I am a king to my people, you're a king to your people, crowned. Do you think that the system is very westernized, in your own words, Nkosi?
Bayete, we as kings have a big challenge, first and foremost, to cleanse our spiritual forefathers from the suffocations that they've left, the stresses that they had, so that one will be able to cleanse his memory and brain from all those ancestors' spirit that we stay with. We will need to work together to come up with a system that will be globally united on how we're going to cleanse as the nation of the EMBO nation. And number two, we have also a challenge of establishing a new education system, as our leaders have spoken. I really support and appreciate all inputs that they are putting together, because really the education that is promoted even today is the one that is confusing our kids. Although we have no option, because it's about job today, but now the kings will have to change the name job into reality, whereby we must own our own land, our own economy, and promote peace amongst our generations. The only way we can do that is sitting together, having this unity, because unity is power, and establish our own knowledge, throw away all the knowledge that we've been infringed by the Western community that have westernized us. And kings must lead the process through the Spirit of God. And that is the only culture we need to adopt today. And I pray to all leaders of united global kingdoms to come together, and we give support to one another, and we push away all, konke ukungcola esikufakwe abantu bezizwe kufanele sikugeze namhlanje, and we need ukuthi sikugeze kuze kuyofika ngisho ezizukulwaneni zethu. I thank you for all those words, and I'm saying really we need to come back to our senses now, and that is the only way. Bayede.
Bayede, what Nkosi Dludla from EMBO Kingdom was trying to say here is we need to be cleansed from all the debt that the colonialism have painted on us. Whatever debt, we need to be cleansed. We need to cleanse ourselves, and we need to cleanse our land. Thank you. Bayete, your Royal Highness. I see a question from Mr. K. Brown. Mr. K. Brown is asking about the unity of the royals. I am the daughter of His Majesty King Bungane III, and I am the former secretary of Congress of Traditional Leaders in South Africa, and I am the presence secretary of the province of Gauteng, Royal Leaders of South Africa, and I am the national spokesperson of the Royal Leaders of South Africa. Yes, royals are uniting. And in South Africa, yes, all royals are uniting under the umbrella of the Royal Leaders of South Africa. In short, it's Rolesa. So they've moved to the Contralesa that was becoming political and forgetting the royals, and they are called the Royal Leaders of South Africa. Reason for that is the entire world and everybody that is watching right now. We know the only royal house as the Queen's royal house, but us as Abantu, we are called the traditional leaders, of which we are not the traditional leaders. That is actually an insult, because the dancer of the traditional group is a traditional leader. So we are not the leader of the traditional dancers or whatsoever. We are the royal leaders. Hence, the organization is called the Royal Leaders of South Africa. So yes, Nkosi yami, K. Brown, royals are uniting. They have started in South Africa, and hence we have the United Global Kingdoms of Africa. And Akwaba, Akua's hope. I love Ghana, because when we started United Global, we started with the kings and queens of Ghana. And with your permission, Your Royal Highness Yakubi,
Yes.
I would like to announce something that has come to His Majesty King Bungane's office. With your permission.
Bayete.
Bayete.
Kobusi.
We have received few certification that have been signed by His Majesty King Bungane III, or with the brand EMBO Kingdom as the brand on the certificate that was given by Nkosi Zonanda Akobi with the ancestral names. That is something that is giving His Majesty sleepless night. I don't know, because I don't remember in the kingdom we giving permission or giving any or His Majesty himself signing any certification to give anybody from the diaspora an ancestral name. By it. I have the certificate with me in presence.
Bayeti. Perhaps
Bayet.
my queen, you may just show us the certificate if you have it.
I have it online. Are you able to project it, President?
Yes, yes.
And even
if you can forward it to me, I think we can share it. If there's
President will forward it to you so that you can project it.
I can share it if you want.
I did.
Please do.
Thank you. Sorry, it's proving a little bit slow here to pick it out. If I can respond to that, it might be helpful.
President LaVELL, you do have the certificate. Can you share it with His Royal Highness?
Yes, I'm working on that now. Give me just a moment. I will definitely share it.
Okay.
Please, Your Highness Bayete, if you wouldn't mind, maybe in the back chat, you can type your email and I will send it to you via email that you may share it on the screen.
Thank you.
Most obliged.
Bayete. Also, I've heard Elder Nkosi wanted to respond on that note. Bayete, Elder Nkosi, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just forwarding my Gmail account so that it can be sent. I've just forwarded. Okay, that certificate that you see there is not signed by King Bongane. It's not signed by me. It's just an electronic signature. And it was because I was renaming, people asked what name changes, and I was in Black Re-Education, UK ABAN 2 Exodus, we offered people change of name for those who want to give up their Gentile identity. It's not an official certificate. It is not anything that is in law or anything. Some people, however, has gone ahead and used their ancestral name because they've left off Gentile names in the West. For example, Nkosi Zona the First. And lots of the people from my group that are here today, they might be having their Bantu names up there. So it has not been sanctioned by King Bongane in the sense that, how did I come by the seal of EMBO? Because it's a seal of EMBO that was complained about. I received that seal, and I wish that we didn't have to do this in the public, because it is it's one of the signs of the divisions. And so I would suggest, Your Royal Highnesses, that we can discuss this outside of this public forum. But if you want to do that, it will take a long explanation as to how this happened, and a lot of names will be called. And this is coming from a few members that have left the group and have brought this out as some means of vendetta. That's why you're hearing about this. I have not issued a name change for anybody for the longest while. This happened a couple of years ago, and this is why this is in front here. And that's the kind of division that we're talking about, that we would love to wash this linen in the public. It's not going to benefit us, but I don't mind. I can explain. And if there is anything that is wrong with what I have done, my humblest apologies. And I will send a letter to the palace by the end of this day. I shall bring up, if it's emailed to me, I will bring it up. Thank you.
Bayeti, His Excellency Yakubi, may I speak? Bayeti.
Bayete, Mr. President, please go ahead.
Bayeti, thank you. So I've sent to you the email, in an email, an image that was sent to my desk by a gentleman with the certification, and I had the privilege and the honor of speaking with His Majesty King Bongane III face to face, sitting down with him and having a conversation about United Global Kingdoms of Africa and the current publication of the EMBO Kingdom name, his name, the signature, the EMBO Kingdom symbol or logo, so to speak. And so in so doing, he was actually clarifying to me that he is in support of UGKA only, or endorsing UGKA only, where his name will be able to be placed as the bridge or the support for diaspora. And so I sent you the image that was sent to my desk, and we can address that. There is the face of a gentleman on there holding up his certification, as you'll see. Gentleman whom I know, that is his certification. And I'm not sure if you can see at the bottom of that image the signatures that were there, but if not, I will resend again.
Because, Mr. President, it is available. I believe the viewers are able to see the document.
Okay, and they're able to see the signatures at the bottom, I assume?
Resend, perhaps if I zoom out, yes.
There we go. Yes, sir. So there are signatures there. And so this was concerning because understand that I am doing the work on my end with my team to streamline this process, make it as smooth and easy as possible for the diasporans. At the end of the day, the people who are most affected by any and everything we do, both positively or negatively, are the diasporans and the continental Africans. So we want to ensure that they are considered ultimately in all the works that we do. We are, if I can say it this way, we were chosen. Those of us here on this panel in this conversation were chosen for this conversation and for whatever works that the Creator has for us. I was chosen by the Creator for UGKA to spearhead this mission. Not that it was a choosing of my own. I had my own agenda. I had my own plan coming to back to Africa, right? I have my own hopes and desires, right? But I was chosen and selected by the Most High to do this work because it means something for our people, both on the continent and in the diaspora. It is prophetic. And so in saying that, we want to make sure that any and everything we say, any and everything we do is said and done with them in mind. So when this came to my attention, I sat down and spoke with His Excellency King Bungane about this to ensure that if this is a work that he endorsed, then we don't want to interfere, but we want to find out how we can streamline this process. And unfortunately, he said that this is not something he endorsed. So this is something that, whether it be privately or publicly, it needs to be addressed so that we can deal with it and we can make sure that the processes going forward are clean, are straight, are simplistic for the diaspora, and that there are no complications, no confusion going forward. Considering we are on a public forum right now, it might be best that we do address this and that we do clear these things up, so then that way those who are in attendance, those who are listening and watching this this conversation may have clarification going forward. I yield. Bayete.
Bayete, Princess Lorna, if you're still with us.
I believe, Bayete, my apologies. I believe His Majesty MAPONGA has something to say. He just raised his hand there. My apologies. Bayete.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the clarification on the issue that has been raised. I would want to suggest to the parties that are involved in this conversation to do it right by the people, to do it right by the royal. I think the details are available for that conversation, and I think the president is right in that the conversation maybe must happen in a private space, and the damages can be controlled from there. And if there are any issues outstanding, those responsible can own up to cleaning up that mess. I hear my Honorable Hartley, His Excellency Hartley, explaining the time frames and when this could have happened. And I think those details are quite important if they can be shared with His Excellency King Bungane. And I think Princess Lorna is the rightful person who will open up the door for you to that conversation, and so that we can clean up this mess. But ultimately, unity is strength. It will be embarrassing that before we even start, to already starting to quarrel and have misunderstandings. I would suggest that special meeting in private be organized, and then a press release to clarify the position of EMBO can be formulated, and the affected parties can be able to respond accordingly. Thank you.
Princess Lorna.
Bayete, thank you very much, Honorable Your Excellency, and thank you very much, Your Highness MAPONGA. As you do know, there is protocol, and I will just type my contact in the chat so that Elder Nkosi Zanada can get in touch with us so that this can be sorted. The other thing that I don't approve, Your Excellency, is to say we are speaking unity, and we are already trying to pull each other. We are not trying to pull each other. Whatever that need to be fixed should be fixed. And when a child make a mistake, a child need to know and understand that everything that I do today is history, and it will follow me in the future. And when Elder Nkosi says he made a mistake, he cannot counter his weight with there are people who are trying to pull him down, because as you see, Brother William has never spoken any ugly about you. I've met him. He's one kind of a person. You call him Sichaba, I call him a soldier. And I respect him so much. I respect his work so much. And the work that we are doing, he was here in South Africa. He met us. We went to do the work for our community. We gave out water, which is life for our community. He knows me in person, of which is not a pull me down syndrome, as you may think. And as you see, he's one of the people that have brought the certificate in person. So that I believe should go, you should reverse those words and apologize to him, because he came to EMBO as in it is his home. And obviously, EMBO is the home for everyone, but we need to do things right. So when one make mistake, one need to own up to it, not to say, I point a finger on another person. So I will leave my details so that we can discuss this. So uzokwazi ukuhlawula baba, you will need to be there when the elders sit, so that we can discuss this and have a way forward, because we are the children of Umdali, the creator. All of us as Abantu, when there's a mistake that happens, the mistakes need to be discussed. We cannot just put a plaster on a rotten wound. We need to open it, clean it, and start afresh. I believe that unity shall prevail, and it shall prevail to all the royals in the United Global Kingdoms of South Africa. Bayet. I yield.
Bayete.
Bayete.
With permission, if I can respond, because I want to retract what I said. And the reason why I want to retract what I said is because I did not watch that certificate when I said that there were people that left that might have disgruntled feelings. So this brother is still on my chat, and he is among many, and the name he chose that name. And so there are others who are in the chat that are that have been complaining in several ways. And so I don't want to mention how I come by the seal and the details around it, because it wouldn't be prudent to do that here. So I'm withdrawing the comment concerning that particular certificate. You see, that's important, and I do. And I do, without reservation, I'm withdrawing that comment. But there might be others that might come to you following this with certificates. You will hear how I acquired that seal and what I've done with it, and we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Bayete, in the spirit of Umuntu Gubuntu Gabantu, I am because you are, because we are. But I also understand the implications of each royal house, the royal protocols and all that. So if the house of Bungane is satisfied with that, then I believe so shall it be. Bayete.
Bayete, all is well. I've left my contact in the chat. Nkosi Zonanda, maybe we can discuss that, because it's a long process to ancestral names. Maybe obviously one of or two things that we can educate each other about that, as His Majesty alluded that the kingdom is spiritual. So it names of people, your identity also, it's a spiritual thing, because it comes from your ancestors. So it's a lineage thing. Even when we will be doing that, if we will be doing that, it will have to go deeper spirituality, not to just give the name to people, because I might give you a name only to find out the name that you were given was the name of a witch or a name of somebody that was doing bad things, and the spirit of that person find resident in you. So it is a long process, and I'm humbled that you are here to own up. So we need to discuss further on that and make sure that this kind of mistakes doesn't happen again. Bayet. Thank you very much.
Yes, and just to reinforce on what the princess has spoken, yes, do not think that acquiring an ancestral name is just a quick process. There are spiritual processes that are required. There are certain cleansings that need to happen. So, as Elder, as Nkosi Maponga said, there is a spirituality, there is a culture that has to be followed. Bayete. Perhaps we can take remarks from the the president.
Bayete, yes. I just wanted to briefly say, I think it would be prudent of us if we can address this as soon as possible. That way, no confusion, no damage or anything of the sort may happen, because right now my team and I are working diligently on a strong process for people to assist them. And we definitely don't want an issue like this to come back up next week or next month or even next year. So we want to make sure that we take care of this early on. So I would ask if we can address this, if we are going to speak privately, if we can address it sooner than later, just to get everything straightened out. I do want to give honor where honor is due, so I do appreciate all the royals being here and speaking on all of these things, from the African spirituality to the indoctrination of religion and all these things, as well as this hurdle that we're dealing with right now of representation or misrepresentation of any names or any kingdom. So we do want to address that and get it straightened out, ironed out, so all of our people, as I mentioned before, all of our people, continental and diaspora, don't have any issues going forward. We are the people today building up the future for them tomorrow. It is simple as that. That is it, because I'm looking at my phone now. I'm still getting messages from different people about this. So I would really like to meet offline as soon as possible and address this. I thank you, Princess Lorna, for speaking on the matter. I also thank you, Elder Nkosi Zenata, for speaking or responding on the matter. I'm appreciative to everyone here. Let's go ahead and get this thing situated so that we can move forward successfully and helping our people home. Bayete.
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 And the urgency of that matter, I will not do the house of Bungane an injustice, so that can be addressed unless there are any other matters arising from that. I think we can put that to rest, and it can be handled through other avenues, as has been cited. My gratitude to the house of Bungane. We have to honor him as he should be honored.
Makhulu mehlo makhulu umkhulu Bungane ziyengane eziyengumuntu zimnyenga ngendaba mthimkhulu mashiya mahle amade njengonyamazane mafuza fulele njengelifu lemvula sigoloze simehla bomvu esibheka umuntu kubekisa ngathi siyamjamela ndlubu zamile kubini ngoba zisaba ukwehlela ingabe emhlenze sabani ninezindlebe sikhanyilanga nezindlebe ezinhle zombili ninabo sibolude lungakhothama endlwaneni konke kwezinto ziyakhothama ninabo magawula imithi emncane emkhulu evela izwele mahluba mahle ninamahluba nzipho zimnyama ngokuqhwayana mashwabadela owashwabadela inkomo ngezinye izipondo zangelengele inkosi kayiqedwa.
Bayete
Kobusi to the house of Bungane. Bayete Kobusi to the president. Bayete Kobusi to you, princess, but still you are under the house of Bungane, but it's two for measure. Bayete Kobusi to Elder Nkosi Zonat. Bayete Kobusi to Nkosi Mabaso. Bayete Kobusi to Joshua Maponga, King. Bayete Kobusi, to all those that have been watching us, we thank you for your time. We thank you for the information that has come through. Our people in the diaspora, seek out the United Global Kingdom of Africa. That is a platform for you to return home. We have many kingdoms, but we acknowledge that we are under the umbrella of the United Global Kingdoms of Africa. That is what Ubuntu is. It is the unity of our people. I am because you are, because you are. So I say, in the tongue of my people, Dayo Dayo, Gemba Gemba, Otepu. Until next time, thank you, Tunkosi, Nolanga II, Bayete Kobusi, to you and your house. And many thanks to all those that have been watching us. So until next time, gratitude.
Bye.